Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're conducting some major HCMC stock predictions, and just a disclaimer here, this is a very bullish vision for HCMC stock going forward. I'm not silly enough to say that a buyback is not required to get to the share price that I'm talking about in the video, but this is a very bullish, based on some of the intellectual property that this company owns, scenario that could in fact come to reality very easily. So if that sounds like something you're interested in today, guys, do please smash that like button, consider subscribing to this channel, and I'll catch you in there. Hey guys, welcome into this HCMC stock predictions video. So we're on the HCMC intellectual property and patents page at the moment, and as you can see, they've got plenty of patents involved. That is obviously nothing new to you guys, but there is absolutely loads of patents in, and what I want to talk about today is actually something that's got a patent pending, and that is biometric security on electronic cigarettes. And all it takes is a slight tweak and a change in the law to make that a legal requirement on e-cigarettes for the safety purposes or hygiene purposes that could take this company to the stratosphere, essentially, because they own and have a patent pending for this product. And we all know that HCMC is not afraid of chasing down massive companies like Philip Morris for patent infringement. So if they get this patent approved for biometric security, fingerprint security on their e-cigarettes and products, which they've already got it in, it is pending, then they can seriously leverage this further down the line. I mean, the likes of IQOS at the moment could end up just being one thing that HCMC goes after. And the share price at the moment is still trading at 0.0011, has done for a very long time, barcoding, trading sideways up until we get a response from Philip Morris on the 16th of April, and the judge rules on the motion to dismiss. So I'm not silly enough to claim that the share price can go to $5 without a buyback or beyond. Essentially, this needs to happen before this share price gets anywhere near $1, because the total amount of outstanding shares is 309 billion. So that's got to come down massively, and relies heavily on a court case win for the capital to do so. So that is something that's a big tick in the box that needs to happen before this essential scenario can go any further. However, pending that that's the case, we've got this sort of biometric fingerprint security sensor that's a patent that HCMC is currently trying to file and get hold of, and that means that the vaporizer or the e-cigarette or whatever it is locked unless the person who owns its fingerprint is pressed on it. Now that has numerous purposes. It serves as a security side of things to stop it being lost or stolen or being used by somebody unintentionally, and that leads on to the minors or children using it. If a law came into place, and we all know that there are tobacco laws out there that stop teenagers or under 21s or whatever smoking products, if something like the FCA or the MHRA here in the UK or the EU Medical Board enforce or decide to enforce something like this, then this is where HCMC's patent would come into force. Now, tobacco and electronic cigarette regulation is still quite early in its days, so it varies completely by having no regulation at all or banning them completely in electronic cigarettes, and it depends on which country in the world you are from with which sort of regulation that you get. Now, the FDA rule on these sorts of things in the United States, and all it would take is that agency to decide that they want to protect children from potentially smoking vaping products with this sort of biometric security for the patent to become hyper valuable by HCMC. And then of course, again, if companies start infringing upon that and start doing it themselves, which they will have to do if they want to sell products essentially, then HCMC again stands to gain millions and millions of dollars, in fact upwards of over $1 billion. Again, they could easily get the same sort of settlement that they're after this time, and we know that HCMC are doing this because it was in their Form 10K filing filed with the SEC not so long ago, stating we have a patent pending for a biometric fingerprint lock sensor that can be used in their vaporizers. The biometric fingerprint lock sensor will allow the owner of the vaporizer to keep the device locked and turned off unless the authorized user unlocks the device via fingerprint scan. So this will protect against minors being able to turn on the device and deem the device is unusable in the event of it being lost or stolen. There is no assurance that this patent will be awarded for this technology at this time. However, of course, that is pending, so they are chasing that down. It is just a scenario, guys, but it's in, the data's there, they've got it filed, so if that comes through, they can lock that down, just like they did with the IQOS side of things, and bank on that. If companies start infringing on it, they can smash them legally. So tobacco products are heavily regulated in the US by the FDA, the US Food and Drug Administration. Now, it only takes federal laws to change on this, and the laws are regulated all the time. Tobacco is regulated all the time in the United States for that to come to fruition, and we can see that compliance and enforcement happens all the time from the FDA. That is exactly what the FDA does. And then over here in the UK we have the same with the MHRA, and the sort of thing that they do is exactly the same as the FDA, and that is available on the UK government's website, going after and regulating the use of tobacco. In the European Union they have the same thing. The European Commission regulates tobacco products, and again there are millions and millions of people in the European Union and the UK that use tobacco products, and especially electronic cigarettes that you can see here. If they enforce this type of biometric security and HCMC get the patent over in the United States and then expand that into the European Union, the UK and Japan, like they've done with patents for IQOS. This isn't something that's completely out of the blue, guys. They have done this in the past and filed patents elsewhere. Then this could generate a significant revenue stream for HCMC. Of course, it relies on them winning the court case in the first place to gain the sort of $5 share price that we're looking at here, but this is absolutely huge. This is a company at the moment that only has a $15 million revenue, but it could easily rake in $1 to $1.5 billion in damages from Philip Morris. And then imagine if this patent comes through, they own that biometric security patent and sensor, and then they can go after all these other wealthy companies that are going to do exactly the same, or sell them the technology first outright, and everything they have to have some sort of royalty come back on that. That all generates into a reoccurring revenue stream for HCMC, and that is then going to send the share price into the stratosphere. Now we have to remember that a buyback has to take place first with the revenue from this first court case, and maybe even a reverse split. Now I know a reverse split isn't great for investors, but it will bring outstanding shares down and will allow for an increase to the share price later on down the line over the longer term, and that is exactly what you're looking for if you're a longer term investor in this company. It's just an interesting scenario, guys, but I found some pretty decent information on it, and we all know just how quick laws in countries can change across the world essentially, but especially across the westernized countries like the European Union, the United States, the UK, Japan. Laws can change there very, very quickly, abruptly, and require a certain amount of change to take place immediately. HCMC, with that patent pending but potentially soon to be granted, would be able to generate massive revenue from that, guys, and I would hope to still be a shareholder in that day if that came to fruition. It's a long-term scenario, and it is a scenario, and it's just a theory at the moment, but there is a little bit of information that suggests that that could come to fruition. The grounds and the foundations are there. All you have to do is connect the dots and one thing to happen. Stranger things have happened, guys, in the past. So hopefully that is not too wild of a theory for you guys to get your head round. I'm not trying to say things that are completely out of character or not going to happen. But as you can see, with what I've found and what I've said in the video, some information is out there and they are waiting for a patent to be pending, to be granted against that. So there is the potential there, and that is exactly what speculative investing is about sometimes. So I'm not saying 100% that this is going to happen, but it is a theory, and it is a theory that has at least some base and some information to it. It is not just wild speculation. Hopefully you've enjoyed this video today, guys. If you could show your appreciation by smashing that like button and considering subscribing to the channel on your way out, that would be awesome. And I'll hopefully see you in another investing video. Catch you later.